Many people are obsessed with LEGO, but LEGO itself has some weird obsessions of its own. Join me as we explore a bunch of LEGO's obsessions in their LEGO sets. It's no secret that LEGO loves frogs. LEGO seems committed to squeezing them into every possible nook and cranny that they can find. In fact, over 200 unique LEGO sets have a frog in them, but not all serve the same purpose, nor are they the same color. First released back in the year 2000, the now ubiquitous amphibian was first issued in the Belleville line, specifically the Queen's Room set. This set included a single frog in translucent green which sat on the Queen's desk, and it was used as an actual frog, or perhaps a prince in disguise. And for the next 13 years, that's all these pieces were, frogs. But that all changed in 2012. You see, more than a decade after their introduction, LEGO frogs evolved in a big way. When the Kingdom's Joust set was released, builders were treated to a brand new idea. Frogs can be more than just frogs. Specifically, 4 of them in this set were used as the legs for this wooden table. This set also included a green frog as an actual frog, but that's just boring at this point. This was a huge hit with fans, and designers quickly took note. This essentially kickstarted LEGO's obsession with using LEGO frog pieces in all sorts of creative ways. Over the last 10 years, LEGO has gone wild with its admittedly pretty heavy-handed use of frogs. Today, these guys have hopped their way into 15 different colors, and there's seemingly no limit to how far they can go. Since 2013, we've seen LEGO frogs used as everything from hood ornaments to hidden DNA inside of the T-Rex from the T-Rex Rampage set. These tan frogs are attached to Scorpion LEGO pieces to create horns, while these bright magenta frogs help create flowers. Not to mention that frogs have been used to represent delicious dumplings in this LEGO set. But when looking up LEGO frogs, there's one name that keeps popping up: Nick Voss. This guy has created several LEGO sets in the LEGO Ninjago line and seems to just love sneaking frogs into places that they don't necessarily belong. The Ninjago City set includes 6 frogs in 3 different colors: green, yellow, and pearl gold. The green ones are used as actual frogs scattered around the town, however the gold one is placed on display in one of the city's many shops, and the yellow one is also hidden somewhere deep inside. More recently, however, LEGO also designed the stunning Lion Dance set, which manages to cram 22 frogs in 3 different colors into the set. We got them in yellow and white for the dragon's ears, and in pearl gold for decorations on the top of the gateway. But of course, any talk about LEGO frogs is legally obligated to talk about the infamous and amazing Bonsai Tree set. Also designed by Nick Voss, this set has a whopping 101 frogs in it, with 100 of them being pink to play the part of the cherry blossoms, and a single brown one hidden at the very top. Now, while frogs might be the most well-known instance of parts popping up in surprising places, they're certainly not the only piece that LEGO seems to be obsessed with. First released in 1998, the sausage piece has been featured in 209 sets so far. Despite not having any actual studs, this piece might just be the most versatile piece that LEGO has ever released. These things have been used as stems in wildflowers, eyebrows on several sets including a pig, and even entire arms. Not to mention its appearance as a chair in Rivendell and supports on the Eiffel Tower. There's a wide assortment of colors too. I mean, just take a look at this color chart that shows all 13 colors of LEGO Glizzies. But even the tastiest hot dog is nothing without the bun. Introduced in 2016, the LEGO hot dog bun element might not have quite as wide of a range of uses, but it has managed to be a hit regardless. This piece first popped up in several LEGO Friends sets and gained popularity during the short-lived run of LEGO Angry Birds movie sets, before making its way into more and more places. Perhaps, though, the best use of a LEGO hot dog that LEGO has given us is in the T-Rex Breakout set, where we learn that all that's needed to catch a loose, rampaging dinosaur is nothing more than a little tasty treat. LEGO seems to love hot dogs so much that in Series 13 of collectible minifigures, we even got an entire hot dog man. And if you're as obsessed with LEGO as LEGO is with these pieces, then be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell, and as you do that, I'll tell you about one of LEGO's most unexpected obsessions. if you think that LEGO might have a small problem with junk food, you should know that there's actually a lot of healthy, fresh fruit hiding in your LEGO sets as well. Specifically, bananas have managed to find their way into more than 170 different LEGO sets at this point, and among 10 different colors. Going back to the Lion Dance set mentioned earlier, frogs aren't the only pieces hiding in plain sight. Check out the front of the faces on the dragons, and you'll notice white and yellow bananas in abundance. This is actually really great since these white bananas are incredibly rare, having only ever appeared in 2 different sets, and this one in particular has 6 of them. This fruit seems to be pretty popular for designers looking to round out the face of some creature, as a similar technique is used in the Legend of Neon set, where 4 teal bananas are used to create a great design around the eyes. Additionally, these pieces have been used as horns or eyebrows on at least 2 Mixels, and several other builds, such as the 4 red bananas that come in the Minions Kung Fu Battle set, the bananas on the back of Gorzan's speeder from the Legends of Chima Whirling Vine set, and the golden bananas to decorate the head of Lloyd's Ninja Mech Dragon from the LEGO Ninjago movie. Now, much like the hot dog though, LEGO has immortalized this fine fruit with its very own collectible minifigure in Series 16. In fact, this guy was such a smash hit that LEGO didn't just stop there. They released a keychain flashlight featuring him, as well as a jumbo plushie. But another food item that seems to be taking over LEGO is the carrot piece. So far, this piece has appeared in 181 LEGO sets in 7 different colors. And while orange is by far the most common still, not every orange carrot is actually a carrot in the set. Just take a look at Poe's X-Wing for an amazing example. The engines here are just 4 orange carrots. However, these pieces have also come in more exotic colors, ranging from glow-in-the-dark white in the Banshee fight, where they are used as glowing plants, to dark brown, where it's been used as clubs in sets such as the Ambush in Cairo. It even got issued in pearl gold as, well, actually a carrot. In the End Arena from the LEGO Minecraft line, you can find one of the game's most treasured foods, a golden carrot. And well, you see, it seems that LEGO is very committed to this carrot piece, as the last 3 waves of the collectible minifigure series have had at least 1 carrot somewhere within them. Starting in Series 22, the horse girl had a carrot for her friend, Series 23 gave us the snowman that came with a carrot for his nose, and Series 24 just full-on gave us an entire carrot mascot minifigure. LEGO is obsessed with carrots. Speaking of mascots though, LEGO sure does seem to enjoy dressing up minifigures as food. On top of the hot dog, banana, and carrot outfits, we've also seen minifigures dressed up as chili peppers, corn, popcorn, and so much more. But it's not just food that LEGO likes to dress up as. We continue getting more and more amazing costumes with each wave of collectible minifigure series. Some of my personal favorites have been Series 5's Lizard Man, the Gorilla Guy from Series 3 complete with a banana, and the Bunny Suit Guy from Series 7, again with a carrot. A big contributing factor to the excess amount of costume minifigures that LEGO produces is the fact that fans love them too. So both LEGO and its fans are obsessed with costume minifigures. I mean, do you remember the costume party themed collectible minifigure series? Yup, me too. 2 of the minifigures literally dressed up as Lego bricks, and the fan favorite Cactus Girl was also released in this series. That was Series 18, and it was a doozy. But there's one LEGO obsession that seemingly towers above them all, and that's LEGO's favorite superhero. With licenses for both Marvel and DC, LEGO puts out a lot of superhero sets, but there's one name that rises above the rest: Batman, for a variety of reasons. It seems that the LEGO team has a special fondness for the Caped Crusader, as Batman is by far the most common superhero in LEGO's catalog, appearing in a whopping 376 sets. How does that compare to other crime fighters, you may ask? Well, this chart shows you just how common he is compared to several other heroes. Batman appears in more than twice as many sets as the runner-up Spider-Man, and nearly 8 times as many sets as his fellow Justice League member Superman. On top of just sets though, Batman has come in 92 different minifigure variants, which is more than double of Iron Man's 43. Part of the reason for this immense quantity is the fact that a Batman minifigure comes in 70% of all DC sets. But of course, this raises the question of why. Does the LEGO team just really love the Dark Knight, or can DC simply just not stand on its own without its most popular character? Or is it maybe just that the LEGO Batman movie was such a success? Well, if you break down on the sets, we get a pretty good idea of what's going on. It looks like 49 of these sets are tied into the LEGO Batman movie line, as well as a collectible minifigures line. On top of this, about 100 of these are DC superhero sets, and of the remaining 173, about 116 are various pieces of LEGO gear, such as keychains, magnets, and hats. Now, before you start saying that gear doesn't count, let me put that number into perspective. Batman alone has 116 pieces of gear merchandise, and the entire Marvel lineup only has 52. Up next, I've got what might be the single most powerful LEGO piece ever created, Mjolnir. Ever since this piece was first released in 2012, the God of Thunder's legendary hammer has become a staple of any LEGO fan's collection, whether you're a Marvel fan or not. While this piece was undeniably created to be used by Thor himself, it seems that there are plenty of other worthy wielders in the world of LEGO, and it's starting to get out of hand. Let me explain. When this element was first introduced, it came in 3 LEGO Marvel sets: Hulk's Helicarrier Breakout, the Quinjet Aerial Battle, and the Thor and the Cosmic Cube Polybag. This led many fans to simply refer to the piece as either Thor's hammer or, more formally, Mjolnir. However, this isn't the part's official name given by LEGO, and these weren't the only sets to use it upon release. The element's official name is actually a sledgehammer, and it's been popping up in unexpected places for over a decade. Back in 2012, LEGO had started releasing sets under the Fantastic Monster Fighters line, and 2 of these had something a little extra. In the Zombie set, as well as the amazing Vampire Castle, you can clearly see hero Jack McHammer holding a very familiar hammer. Over the next few years, this part was used pretty sparingly, only appearing in just 5 sets between 2012 and 2016. While most of these were indeed LEGO Marvel sets, the Misfortune's Keep from LEGO Ninjago gave us another hammer, this time being carried by a pirate monkey. That same year also saw the Little Elf Helpers, which included a single hammer as part of the tool bench. But even though these sets didn't feature Thor himself, the parts were still being used only as hammers. In 2017, though, things changed with the release of the Assembly Square set. For the first time, we were given this piece and told that you could use it in a decidedly very different way. On step 11 of bag 6, we're told to pick up not just 1, but 6 of these hammer parts to create a great bit of stonework on the facade of the central building. This is truly where LEGO's obsession took over. Over the rest of 2017 alone, Thor's hammer appeared in 10 more sets, none of which featured Thor. They appeared in several sets from the LEGO Ninjago movie line, including 1 in each of the Garmadon, Ninjago City, and Lightning Jet sets. But perhaps the weirdest set that this piece popped up in that year has got to be the Harley Quinn Dorm build from the DC Superhero Girls line. Putting the iconic weapon of a Marvel character here into the hands of a DC villain is certainly a funny choice, but at least it's a character who also famously uses a hammer. Aside from a single appearance in the Mighty Micros Thor vs. Loki set, Thor's hammer wouldn't return to Valhalla until 2020. In the meantime, though, it kept finding brand new homes in various sets, ranging from Ninjago to the Steamboat Willie to the UCS Star Destroyer, which tucks a single hammer deep inside the build. Since then, the part has appeared in several Marvel sets as well as a handful of other themes. Most famously, perhaps, is its use in the A-frame cabin, which uses a staggering 18 of them to create the brickwork out front. Overall, this part has appeared in 45 sets, but 22 of them haven't featured Thor at all. I've got to give a big shout out to a viewer named Owen for pointing this one out, and if you've ever spotted any weird LEGO obsessions, let me know in the comments below. Now, as common as these hammers are, a fan going by Philocon Animation pointed out another LEGO weapon that appears even more frequently, the iconic katana. So far, this piece has popped up in 320 different sets and appears in at least a dozen colors. This is certainly a classic piece that LEGO designers love to include. This part was originally released as part of the Ninjago line. Just to be clear though, LEGO actually released a few different types of katanas over the years, and the one that we most commonly get nowadays has a square guard and holes in the cross guard and blade, but there were earlier versions including the octagonal guard that debuted in 1998 as part of the short-lived Ninja line. After a few renditions, LEGO made up their mind, and we've been getting the same current version for nearly 10 years now. Since then, these pieces have become some of the most prolific out there, and the gold ones are synonymous with Ninjago. Out of the 320 sets that have featured this model of katana piece, 255 of them have been Ninjago, including the Ninjago 10th Anniversary Brickhead set. Aside from the realm of the ninja though, these parts can be found in various sets such as the Mixel Spinza, as well as Mulan's Training Day, and even some Technic iconic sets such as the Ducati here. However, believe it or not, there's another piece that's even more common than the LEGO minifigure katana. This was pointed out to me by many of you guys in the comments, and it's the coffee mug. LEGO is really obsessed with this piece. As it stands, this piece has appeared in 841 sets in 11 different colors, going all the way back to 1979. When you consider that minifigures were first introduced in 1978, it's obvious just how much of a priority coffee is in LEGO City. Fun fact, Denmark is the world's 4th largest drinker of coffee per person, and it seems to translate to LEGO's toys as well. But getting back to the mug piece, it first appeared in 1979 in a handful of sets across 3 different themes. It was included in white in set 261, simply called Bathroom, and in clear in the Family Room and Kitchen sets from the Homemakers line. As a side note, I have to point out something interesting in these sets. Just take a look at the baby being held in this image. That's a standard minifigure. Yeah, the scale of these sets was definitely a bit off by modern standards, but it's cool just to see how LEGO has changed things up over the years. In the same year though, we got a blue mug in the Knight's Joust, and the now legendary red mug in the snack bar set from the classic Town line. This piece had a very humble beginning. Surprisingly though, over the next several years, these parts were used pretty sparingly, only appearing in a handful of sets each year. In 1985 though, the mug popped up in a whole 11 sets as part of the now forgotten Fabuland series, but that was the only year to see it appear in more than 8 sets until 1996, when 15 sets featured this part. Over the next 10 years, the part was once again very scarce, but it did make a few famous appearances, including the famous Rock Wrecker from Power Miners. As you can tell, this piece has been around for a very long time, but it really wasn't until the 2000s that things started to accelerate. In 2006, LEGO revamped the LEGO City theme, which was really a game changer. These parts started appearing in a lot of sets. 2006 gave us 11 sets featuring mugs, and by 2016, that's 10 years later, the number was up to 46. Every year between 2009 and today has seen more than 20 sets released with mugs, and that's unlikely to slow down. These things appear in more than 70 different themes, as well as some interesting sets such as 2006's The Batcave, Penguin, and Mr. Freeze's Invasion. However, of the more than 800 sets with mugs, 244 are from City and Town, with another 85 coming from Friends sets. Regardless, it's really hard to comprehend the sheer magnitude of 841 sets that are unique, that each have at least one of these mug pieces in it. Now, another piece that's seen a huge surge in recent years is the cherries element. Its rise to stardom is quite ridiculous. Let me explain, and as I do, tap that subscribe button if you enjoy my videos. I really appreciate it. Since its introduction in 1998, the LEGO cherry piece has made its way into 229 sets and appears in 4 colors: red, lime, magenta, and dark pink. This part got its start in the long-forgotten Scala line, where it appeared in 4 sets, and in 2000 it debuted in dark pink in a handful of Belleville Fairy Tale sets. For the next few years, this piece would only appear in Belleville sets, making it something of a rarity at the time. Its first appearance in a set that people today might remember, though, didn't come until 2004, when 2 of the parts were included in the Harry Potter Shrieking Shack set. Things started to change in 2006 when cherries were released in lime color as part of the SpongeBob SquarePants Adventures in Bikini Bottom set. Not only were these in a new color, but this marked the first time that the piece had been used as something other than actual cherries. In this case, they made up the eyes of Gary the Snail, which is quite genius. Over the next several years, these parts only ever came in a few sets a year. Many larger modular sets like the Market Street and Cafe Corner included them in red or lime, and they even appeared in sets like 2010's Prince of Persia Fight for the Dagger. Everything changed in 2014 when LEGO launched the Friends line. That year, the cherry piece made its way into a dozen new sets, up from just 4 the year prior. Ever since then, it's been found in around 20 new sets each year, and so far in 2024, it's popped up in 2 of the new Animal Crossing sets, Julian's Birthday Party and Bunny's Outdoor Activities, as well as one of the largest Monkey Kids sets and the Medieval Town Square, among many, many others. But not every LEGO obsession is a single LEGO piece, because you see, LEGO seems to absolutely love fire trucks, and who can blame them? They're big and loud, they have ladders, bells, and save lives. There's no denying that fire trucks are cool, but sometimes too much of a good thing can be a slight problem. LEGO has released a lot of fire trucks over the years, like a whole lot, and that's not anything new. Before LEGO was even making plastic bricks, they made wooden toys, and one of the very first was this wooden fire truck released in 1946. By 1958 though, LEGO had pivoted to plastic toys, and one of their earliest offerings was the Bedford fire engine. This wasn't brick built, but it was included in a few LEGO sets like the 111-piece Fire Station. The first fire truck that would be recognizable today as a proper LEGO build has got to be the 1964 fire engine. With 170 pieces, the set is certainly a bit underwhelming by modern standards, but it was a big deal at the time. On a side note, I just have to point out these instructions. 170 pieces and only 6 steps? Yikes. Over the next several decades, LEGO really never slowed down on releasing fire trucks. In fact, as of 2024, they've released at least 172 different fire trucks in sets with no sign of stopping anytime soon. That is a crazy number of fire trucks. The minifigures in LEGO City are certainly well protected from fires. Now, of course, no discussion of LEGO's obsessions is complete without at least one mention of frogs. In my previous video on this topic, I missed one very important thing. A fan going by the name The Game Critic commented that I forgot to mention the frog in the Lion Knight's castle, and I agree that this particular frog inclusion is quite interesting. So let's take a closer look. This set is an absolute goldmine of fun references and clever building techniques, but one of the most interesting is also one of the most subtle. Beneath one of the watchtowers, sitting comfortably on the grass, there's a small brown frog. Nothing out of the ordinary here. After all, LEGO has a bit of a soft spot for putting frogs in sets. But what catches the eye though is what's directly overhead. A few levels up, you can see a fairly accurate medieval toilet, essentially just a hole with an area beneath functioning as a primitive waste disposal system. This frog appears to have found itself in an unexpected spot, evidenced by a curious note in the instructions that says, "A brown frog? I wonder if it was always this color." Now, let's shed some light on this situation, and there's no better way to do so than with a candle. First introduced in 2018, this piece originally appeared in 3 Harry Potter sets: Aragog's Lair, the Hogwarts Great Hall, and the Hogwarts Whomping Willow. The next year, this piece popped up in 7 more sets, but always as a candle, and always paired with this candle flame piece. In 2020 though, LEGO really turned up the heat by releasing this piece in an astounding 30 different sets across themes from Harry Potter to Hidden Side to LEGO Pirates and much more. While nearly all of these used this piece as an actual candle, a few dared to do something a little different. Both the Dubai Skyline and Aurora's Forest Cottage sets used this piece in creative ways. The Dubai build made use of 28 of these pieces as part of the facade of Dubai's extremely expensive 7-star hotel, while the Disney build used a single one as the handle for the wheel. Over the next few years, LEGO designers leaned heavily into this part, and it appeared in 40 more sets in 2021, 51 sets in 2022, and a jaw-dropping 83 different LEGO sets in 2023. The exponential growth in this piece's popularity is truly astounding. As of making this video, we're only about halfway through 2024, and this piece has already appeared in 48 different sets this year. With all of these pieces going around and being included in these sets, it shouldn't come as any surprise that this candle piece has been released in an ever-increasing range of colors, and is now available in 16 different hues. However, it has become more and more common for this part to appear as something other than a candle. They've been used in silver to represent the internal components of the amp in the Fender Stratocaster set, as well as in green to represent stems and foliage in a range of LEGO plants, such as this bamboo shoot. And they've even come in pearl gold in sets like the Disney Castle and Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon in multiple locations behind the dragon heads. Now, white is the most common color, appearing in 109 sets since 2018, but these pearl gold candles are surprisingly the second most common color, appearing in 35 sets so far. Another interesting usage for this piece is on this buildable character for legs in blue from 2020's Rainbow Caterbus set. Of course, as nice as candles are, they're only one part to a proper table setting. What good is ambient mood lighting without some tasty food to go along with it? LEGO sure does love putting food into their sets, with cherries, bananas, and carrots all appearing in countless different LEGO sets. While these pieces are sometimes used as specific details for the set rather than the food itself, there is one food item that, as far as I can tell, has really only ever been used for its original purpose. The turkey drumstick is kind of an odd piece. First introduced in 1997 in the kitchen and kitchen accessories packs, this original version has appeared in a total of 115 sets, ranging from Star Wars to Pharaoh's Quest and everything in between. But there's a small detail here that's a bit of a head scratcher. In 2010, LEGO released the first wave of collectible minifigures, and among them was this zombie. An overall great minifigure, but there was something ever so slightly off about it: the drumstick. Although this piece was the same dark orange color, eagle-eyed fans noticed something was a little bit off. The drumstick that had been in use for over a decade was exactly 20 millimeters long, but this one was just a bit longer, at 23 millimeters. This slightly modified version only appeared one more time as part of the classic Pirate set in 2013, before reverting back to the shorter drumstick. So why did LEGO modify this piece and then only use it twice over 3 years? Well, what's even weirder is that that's not the end of this story. In 2014, LEGO fans that opened the Outback Cabin set or the Shrimp Shack Attack set spotted yet another new version of this delicious piece. LEGO once again went back to the longer 23mm length, but there was something else different here: the hole on the back. While the first two versions of this piece had a round hole, which you can see on the two sides of this image, the newer model, pictured in the middle here, had an oval hole, allowing it to fit onto a few more different types of bricks. This is the version that's still used to this day, but in total there have been 187 unique sets that contain at least one of these drumstick pieces, which is quite a lot. However, the drumstick isn't the only LEGO food piece to get a mysterious redesign. I talked in a previous video about how obsessed LEGO is with carrots, and it seems like this isn't slowing down anytime soon. Check this out. A user over on Reddit posted this picture showing two seemingly identical carrot pieces, with the only noticeable difference being the price. If you look very closely though, you can see that the one on the right has a slightly longer peg on the end and a very slightly different texture. Unlike the drumsticks, which are categorized as 3 separate distinct pieces with their own pages on Bricklink, these two carrots share a single listing and seem to be completely interchangeable. But why does one cost 20% more than the other? I guess it must be organic. On another note, just look at all the colors that this carrot piece has appeared in. There have been 7 different colors of carrots spread across 252 sets since 1999. That's a lot of LEGO carrots. But there's another type of carrot that does have its own special listing: the minifigure snowman carrot nose. Packaged with the Series 23 snowman, this one is made of flexible rubber and has so far only appeared in this one package, or one minifigure. Now, staying on the topic of food for a little bit longer, there's one meal that LEGO just can't seem to get enough of. Back in 1994, LEGO put out the Pizza to Go set as part of the classic Town line, and an obsession was born. In the 30 years since then, we've gotten no fewer than 10 sets based around pizzerias or pizza delivery, including the Pizza Planet Truck Rescue from Toy Story and the genuinely adorable pizza place released during Bricktober at Toys R Us. In 2002, LEGO even released an updated version of the original Pizza to Go, and this version seems to be an exact copy with the same 135 parts and 3 minifigures. But it's not just pizza shops. LEGO even put out an actual buildable slice of pizza at one point. In 2012, as a promotion at New York Comic Con, LEGO gave away several copies of Antonio's Pizzarama, tied into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. Exactly how many of these sets were produced is unknown, but finding one for sale today is nearly impossible. Estimations on this 57-piece set currently value it around $2,500, which is mostly due to its unique packaging rather than the pieces that actually make up the pizza slice. And while a dozen or so pizza sets might not sound like a true obsession yet, they're just the tip of the iceberg. There are a solid 10 minifigures based solely around pizza, including the Pizza Chef, Possessed Pizza Delivery Man, Pizza Delivery Scarecrow, and the iconic Pizza Costume Guy from Collectible Minifigures Series 19. On top of all of that, there are at least 75 different LEGO elements that are directly tied to pizza. We've gotten the classic 2x2 pizza box tile in 20 different sets, as well as in a few different versions. There are also multiple round pizza tiles, and even a few different pizza slices for minifigures to enjoy. While most of the obsessions I've mentioned in this video are single pieces that keep popping up, there's another type of fixation that LEGO seems to have, and that's releasing multiple versions of the same set. For example, LEGO has released no fewer than 7 different parrots since 2005, and that makes sense as they've gotten better and better each time. Seriously, just compare the most recent exotic parrot to the very first version, and I think you'll agree that an update was a good idea. But at a certain point, more of the same starts to wear out. With animals, there are so many different ways to do them that LEGO can keep releasing parrots from now until the end of time and not necessarily completely repeat themselves, but for something like an iconic spaceship, well, things can get old pretty fast. The Millennium Falcon might be the most famous spaceship from any work of fiction. With that kind of notoriety, it's little wonder that LEGO has released several versions of the vessel. What might be surprising is just how many they've released though. If you count every major boxed release, polybag, and advent calendar mini build, there have been an astronomical 29 different versions, ranging from special promotional sets, UCS Star Wars sets, tiny advent calendar builds, and even this fun holiday diorama. While there's not enough time to go over all 29 of them, there are a few major highlights. Let's start at the beginning with the very first version that we ever got in 2000. This 641-piece build might not have aged as well as its on-screen counterpart, but it was an impressive offering at the time, and a mere taste of what was to come. A few years later, in 2003, we got this great little mini Falcon with just 87 parts, but the real star launched a few years later in 2007. The first UCS Millennium Falcon was a massive hit, with 5,174 pieces and weighing in at just over 20 pounds, or 9 kilograms. This was the largest LEGO set ever released at this point. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we've got this promotional polybag titled Escape the Space Slug, where our favorite ship here is recreated with fewer than 10 pieces. Many other versions have been small advent calendar builds and 3 different microfighters, but I can't talk about this ship without at least mentioning the UCS Millennium Falcon 2nd edition from 2017. I mean, with a full decade between releases, LEGO really took their time to do this right and added more than 2,000 parts to the original. As of 2024, LEGO certainly isn't done with the iconic vessel and has 2 new versions this year, the midi-scale Millennium Falcon and the Dark Falcon. But although a ship like the Millennium Falcon unquestionably deserves this kind of star treatment, there's another ship that LEGO has a seemingly random obsession with, Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. This ship is certainly very stylish, and Darth Maul is one of the coolest Star Wars villains out there, but this ship only appeared in a single movie, Episode 1, and was only on screen for about 30 seconds. Granted, it has appeared in a handful of comics and video games, but it's hardly as recognizable as many other ships from the franchise. Nonetheless, someone over at LEGO must really love it, because we've gotten a total of 10 different versions of this ship. Everything from advent calendar mini builds, to microfighters, to the recent set released in 2024, and even this odd promo set from San Diego Comic-Con in 2012 that came in an aluminum tin. But you see, the most common Star Wars element to be used in LEGO sets has got to be the legendary blaster. There are 2 different types of this part, the standard and the longer version, and both debuted in 2007. Since then, they've appeared in a total of 261 unique LEGO sets, and all of them have been Star Wars. LEGO really doesn't like putting firearms in their unlicensed themes, such as LEGO City, so this isn't terribly surprising. The standard version has been released in black, flat silver, pearl dark gray, and even in white in 2 different sets, the 2019 Star Wars Advent Calendar and the Imperial Transport set. But LEGO also hides a lot of things in their sets, so click this video to explore 10 secrets in LEGO sets, and don't forget to subscribe right now so you don't miss my next LEGO video.